You might be doing Tai Chi and not even know it. Hi, this is Coach Jan from Tai Chi to the People, presented by Justice for Hire. And I've coached the US Tai Chi push hands team. I've been the captain of that team. I was coached by Josh Waiskin, world champion. And Tai Chi is not what people think it is. So today's session of what we do weekly with Tai Chi to the People, every week we dedicate our training to the cause of the week. This week is No Kid Hungry. You can donate to them directly on @NoKidHungry on Instagram. But this week, we're going to focus on the concept of Tai Chi, finding it in your daily life. In other words, you can turn any exercise into Tai Chi, and you might already be doing Tai Chi right now. So I want to talk about this concept because oftentimes you'll hear me say Tai Chi is a martial art. It is a martial art. There's a martial arts component to it. Most people don't even know that. Most people think Tai Chi is old people in the park moving slowly. That's fine because that is a component of it, but what are they doing? And in America, we have a very skewed perspective of what Tai Chi is. So today we're going to talk about it as a system of mechanics, specifically breath work, visualization, and body mechanics, and how those can manifest in any way and how important it is for you to do it for your entire life, to start as young as possible. Outside the US, you have kids who start as young as 4 or 6 years old. My son started around 3, 4 years old doing Tai Chi, small, fun Tai Chi exercises that he could do to strengthen his breath work, visualization, and more. So today we're going to, and Mark just joined us. Today we're going to work on the concept. This is very experimental of turning any exercise into Tai Chi. And I'll share this quick little story that when I trained at the USA Shaolin Temple under Xian Ming, I was kicked out. Wonderful time, great story. He's great. And so, and I mean that, I send people there all the time. But one of the wonderful things that the students spoke about was bringing Kung Fu into your daily life. And that's where I learned that Kung Fu doesn't mean Kung Fu. Kung Fu means expertise. That any way you do something, you can have good Kung Fu, Kung Fu. So in a similar way, I was coming from a Tai Chi background into the Shaolin Temple. I was already training with my father and my family's Sifu and Wu style Tai Chi before I went to this Shaolin Temple. So when I went in, I had very particular perspective. So going in there, it reminded me that I could do Tai Chi all day. I didn't have to just wait to do the form. And I used to walk around my high school with every step focused on a breath. And that's not to say that you have to do that, but it is important to be able to bring the Tai Chi mechanics, the breath work, the visualization, and especially as you get more dynamic with your perception of what Tai Chi is, even from the martial component, doing push hands, of moving with somebody else, and finding out how to redirect pressure towards your goals in life, in daily life. You could start to do it not just in the push hands, which becomes wrestling, which, you know, if you're a wrestler, if you're a martial arts of any proficiency, you know how the martial arts can apply to other areas of your life. So when you start to feel the pressure in a conversation or in a relationship and start to redirect that pressure toward hopefully a shared goal, there's a lot of value for the world in that. So today, we're going to focus on taking any exercise and turning it into Tai Chi. We've done boxing in the past, and Mark, I would love any ideas from you on this as well, but this is supposed to be an experimental session. And I'm going to be doing more of these experimental sessions because I am being asked by other martial arts systems to come in and bring a Tai Chi perspective to their systems, which I'll tell you guys more about soon. So it's going to be some interesting stuff. And Mark, any ideas, any thoughts on this before we get into it?
No, it's an excellent excellent idea, and I try to incorporate it into everything I do. So I'm really anxious to start.
Okay, awesome. Well, so I'll do something that's really, really practical that I actually used to do at the Shaolin Temple. I'm just going to bring this camera with me for a second while I go grab it, which is sweeping. So I have a broom here, And just the concept of being able to bring Tai Chi into my breath work in sweeping. So in the Shaolin Temple, we used to have this, and I think that if you own a martial arts school, I know a lot of teachers don't do this, but they complain about how they wish this is the way it was. In the Shaolin Temple, you finish training, you clean the school. When I did judo at Oishi's in New York, wonderful judo Olympian, when you finish class, you clean the floors. So the students, doesn't matter if you're paid, like part of the discipline is to clean up after yourself so that you train that in your own life and other areas. So, but specifically in the Shaolin Temple, I remember doing the Shaolin stance work while I'm sweeping. However, like I said, from my background in Tai Chi, would always make sure that I'm exhaling as I shift, and then inhale as I reset, and exhale as I shift. You can do this, we do this all the time in Tai Chi as well, in what we call chopping the laurel tree. Very similar mechanic, our chopping the laurel tree mechanic. Exhaling down, inhaling, chopping up, eye and middle finger, exhaling, opening the back leg, inhaling up. So when we talk about the concept of Tai Chi in daily life, we're really talking about slowing yourself down so that everything is intentional, as intentional as you possibly can be with your current level of awareness. And you always want your current level of awareness to be expanding. You want to be more aware, more expansive in your awareness tomorrow than you are today. So inhaling up, exhale, one hand waving down. This bottom hand should feel like you're moving waves out of the way in the top, or the outside hand, or the inside hand, chopping upward. Feels like you should be chopping it all the way up to the top, cutting the tree at an angle, and then washing down, splashing through the water. Inhaling up, chopping, washing down. So when grabbing a broom, and even sweeping, whether I'm doing it like this or I'm doing it down, doesn't matter if you can't go down all the way. It doesn't matter if you can't go down all the way. Even if you do it small, you still have the body mechanic. Inhale, switch, load, exhale. Inhale, open the back foot, switch the weight from back to front, and then notice how the waist and the hips are being powered here. They're powering the movement, but they're powered by the breath. And my breath work is going through the broom. One of the things my father would always remind me of is that when you have a weapon in your hand, it's an extension of your body, which is part of the reason that I'm against the concept of people learning how to shoot guns before they actually know how to use weapons, and using weapons before they know how to use their hands and bodies. So really being able to connect the breath into whatever you're doing. And I'll give a little exercise on doing exactly that right now. You can hold anything you want. You can hold a book. You can hold anything you want. But as long as you're holding an object, start out with your big orbit breathing. So if you haven't done big orbit breathing before, you have an imaginary string lifts you from the top of the head to get your posture. The tailbone drops straight down. Mouth is closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. And some people breathe up their backs and down their fronts for big orbit breathing. I was taught the opposite way. Whichever way you're taught, stick with that way. I'm going to do up the front, down the back. So I'm going to inhale up, drawing my awareness from the feet, my toes, all the way up the front of my body to the top of my head. Remember, you're holding the object, however big or small. Exhaling, rolling it down the back, head to heels, into the ground. Inhaling up, exhaling down. When you do this breath work with an object in your hand, the object starts to become part of your field of awareness. You can go as far as to say your auric field. Inhaling up, exhaling down. As long as it's in that field of awareness, you can start to breathe along the object now. Inhaling up the front of the object. And then over to the top of your head, exhaling down. And If you were doing it in reverse, you would inhale back and exhale down the front of the object, meaning that the awareness, your attention as you inhale should actually move up the solid object all the way to the top of it and over it, because it's part of your field of awareness. You can feel, and if you can't feel right now, you will over time, you can feel anything that touches down here, even the air, and you can feel anything that's touching up here, just because it's connected to the hands. And then when you start to move with it, bringing it back to our sweeping exercise, you start to move with it, exhale, pushing the breath through the bristles. Inhale, load again, and exhale, pushing the breath through the bristles. And you can even step back. You can do one breath in, step, one breath out, and stepping forward. One breath in, stepping again, breath out. And notice that what we're practicing while we're doing this kind of work is also martial arts. We're doing a martial application here. I would say that the concept of connecting the breath is also wonderful when doing weights. Really, really amazing stuff when doing weights. As a matter of fact, Grandmaster William C.C. Chen, whose shirt I'm wearing right now, often talks about reverse breathing Tai Chi, his style of breathing, rather than upon exertion, exhale, inhaling upon exertion to fill up the body as a wonderful weight mechanic. So let's talk about that for a second, connected to the idea of connecting to the object. So here's a couple of weights. I'll take you with me while I grab these weights. Got all these little tools over here. And so I'm just grabbing these light 5-pound weights. And the other weights are in the bedroom for training later tonight, if I feel like it, because I haven't had a day off in a while. So, boom, you have these two weights. I will say that when I had my son, it changed my experience of holding weight, because I started to care about the weight I held. I held my son. And so I bring that same mentality to holding weights now, that I have to actually really care about the object I'm holding, which is directly connected to the breath work going in and out through the object. It's another level of that, I should say. So when you're holding these objects, you're inhaling through them into the body, exhaling, pushing out the breath through the objects. Inhale. You can do the big orbit breathing if you want, up the body, down the body, whether front or back. Again, I do up the front, down the back. And now connecting William C.C. Chen's reverse breathing Tai Chi. For him, inhaling, exhale, and load. So when you exhale and load, you're going to slightly soften the knees and shift the weight to the heels. The heels, you'll slightly fall down. Once you have your nice posture, tailbone down, you'll slightly come forward. And when the weight gets to the balls of the foot, the big toe, you're going to inhale up, like you're waking up in the morning. And exhaling down, back to the heels, and then the ball of the foot, the big toe. Inhaling up. The inhalation fills up the muscles, it fills up the lungs. You want the concept of the chi, the visualization of the energy, to go through the weights into the muscles and inflate the muscles as like they're balloons. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, inflates the muscles. Exhaling down. The same would go for push-ups, inhaling up. Exhaling down. As a matter of fact, let's do exactly that right now. Doing the push-up mechanic with the reverse breathing Tai Chi. So here, push-ups are super interesting with this mechanic. And the reason they're so interesting, in my opinion, is because you really, there is the experience of expanding the awareness even through the floor. So rather than the weights, you're really feeling the floor, yourself connected through your palms. Oftentimes in Tai Chi, we talk about being rooted and connecting through the feet. into the ground. But when you start to, especially if you're wrestling, the concept of having your base with your hands is so important. And doing push-ups in this way, where you really connect, of course, you have your proper push-up posture. My palms are as wide as my shoulders. And the reverse breathing Tai Chi, exhaling, deflating, going down, and then inhaling from the floor through the palms into the chest. And we'll do 5 like this. As a matter of fact, we're gonna do 5 time under tension push-ups, which means we're gonna hold up for 5 seconds. And then when we exhale, we're going down for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold for 5 seconds above the ground, meaning you never let yourself touch all the way down, and then inhaling up 5 seconds. Do 4 more, holding for 5 seconds. So you're in a plank and then dropping down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All that exhalation. You can do free breathing here, holding for 5 seconds, but then inhale. 5 seconds up and hold. 3 more. And down, exhaling out. And hold. Inhaling up. And push all the way through the shoulder blades when you do your push-up. Meaning that if you have, a lot of times people will only push through their chest, push through the shoulder blades so they disappear into the back. And then 2 more, exhaling down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold. Inhaling up. Push all the way through the back. Hold. And last one, exhaling down. 5 seconds. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale up. And you can bring yourself up. So those time under tension push-ups, and we'll stretch that out right now. 2 uplifting heavens, inhaling up. Exhaling down. 1 more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. And before we go all the way down, gently bouncing, reaching the fingers back, very, very gentle stretch of the chest. Same thing, up and down, very gentle bounce. Challenge, you might do it much faster. 2, 3, 4, 5. Another uplifting heaven just to stretch that out. So the time under tension is another place to bring the Tai Chi breath work in. And that time under tension style push-up is, I make sure every morning now, I started doing this last year, and it's changed my level of strength, my level of practical strength. And I do the time under tension, not just push-ups, but any body weight exercise. I do 1 set, not 2, 1 set every morning. And when I say every morning, I mean 5 to 6 days a week. So it's really, really amazing. And I used to do push-ups every day, but I want to work different parts of the body. So I'll do push-ups one day, I'll do dips another day, I'll do handstand push-ups another day. And I won't do more than 5 on the handstand push-ups. I've gotten up to about 7 on the regular push-ups. But my intention is, I for so long did calisthenics, really intense conditioning workouts that helped my endurance level. My body's built for endurance, but so I had amazing endurance, but I didn't have the physique that I really wanted. I didn't have the muscle density, the muscle size, etc. And I've noticed significant changes from just doing the 5 time under tension exercises per day just in the morning. Like I said, this is part of my Tai Chi routine. I'll do a form anywhere between 3 minutes and 16 minutes, sometimes 24 if I do it very slow for my longest form. And then I'll go right into a time under tension exercise. And then from there, I'll do maybe one Neigong exercise. I'll do what we'll do right now, just to balance this out, pressing the palm together. This is isometrics, pushing, feeling the chest. All the muscles contracting. 5 seconds, and then inhale, pulling apart, feeling the upper back and shoulders. And relax, and exhale, pressing. Everything contracts inside the shape created with the palms. Pressing. 2, 3. Relax it. Inhale, pulling apart as if you're trying to pull the arms over. Arch the back when this happens. Relaxing, palms down behind you. Exhale, press. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax. And inhale, pull apart. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax. And behind the back. Pushing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax and pull apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. And finally, above the head, push it together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And finally, pull apart. 1, 2. Inhale. 3, 4, 5. Relax. And 2 uplifting heavens to stretch that out. And I normally finish that set with dynamic tension. And the dynamic tension we've normally done has been on here, has been a dragon style, Hungar style press. We've done different presses in different directions. Today, we've done some punches as well. Today, we're going to do a very dragon style Kung Fu movement for the dynamic tension. And so you're going to stand in a cat stance, which means also called a hanging leg stand, all the way down one leg, the toe of another leg touching down. And we're going to clear with one hand, and we're going to strike with the other. We're going to clear with one hand, strike with the other. Clearing and striking. One is essentially an uppercut, the other one is a brush knee from the Tai Chi mechanic. And you're sinking onto this back leg. But we're going to do this dynamic tension style. That was just so you can see the footwork. So we're going to cover, and the dynamic tension is going to be a flex in the belly and in the arm, the rising arm. If you'd like, I oftentimes will do one arm soft and one arm hard with dynamic tension. That being said, that is for me to make sure that sometimes, especially if you've ever fought bare knuckle before, sparred bare knuckle, you know that the reality of sparring bare knuckle is that you have to protect your fingers. You have to make sure that they're in. You don't want to get caught on anything. And you really do. You don't want to tense up, but you absolutely need to stay small. So the concept of staying small, you should still be able to be very soft. But sometimes you have to flex to get something through. You have to pop and flex. So oftentimes I will keep one hand soft while the other hand is flexed for the dynamic tension motion. But for this one, it feels nice to do both of them flexed with the abs. So let's do that for this first time, and then perhaps in the future we'll change this. So cover, as you cover, and the other one is striking, you flex, pulling, and push it. Last week we talked about the so hum concept as well. Inhaling so and exhaling hum, and you can do that here. 5 times each side, so that was 1 each. Inhaling so, exhaling hum. Inhaling so, exhaling. There's even a flex in the hanging leg. Hum. When you do the flex, you should feel it in the hands and the fingers through the forearms as well. So the forearms flex, the bicep and tricep, the shoulders, the chest, even the abs. And notice that the abs are turning as the hip rotates up. A very particular rotation upward, and cover and strike. Forearm, bicep, tricep, shoulders, everything flex. Soften, inhale, switch arms. And as you switch the stance, that's when you activate the breath. Up, flex. 2 more each side, inhaling up, switching the leg, exhale. You can think of this as a uppercut on the chin before you grab and reach down. On the eyes, grab and reach down. Switch, inhaling up. One more each side. Last. I'll do the hammer twice. Really relax. Release all the tension you just gathered. Up. Even deeper. Even deeper. Big breath. Yeah. So, again, talking about my morning routine, I normally end it with the kicks, the 5 Shaolin kicks. You do 5 kicks every day in Shaolin, and how this connects to the breath work, the concept of anything you do Tai Chi, is that you want to be able to whip the breath quickly through the body, not just slowly. So we've done the kicks before, and we are going to get back to our concept of anything can be Tai Chi. We're going to continue that. But since we're on this wonderful morning routine, I want to finish this segment with the kicks. And I will say that every day I switch up the kicks that I'm doing. So I started with doing the 5 basic Shaolin kicks, which we're going to do today. And I do my best. I make sure to every week do it at least 1 day a week, because it's that foundational. It's very, very important. But if you do other styles of martial arts, I think it's great to bring in light techniques from other styles as well and apply the same breath work, visualization, and body mechanic thinking to it. So apply the Tai Chi system, which is portable, which should be able to be ported over to any particular style or modality that you might be, activity that you're engaging in life. So first kick here is Sai Jiao. So this is, there's the camera again. But this is specifically weight up one leg, foot forward. I'm going to take off these slippers and 1 foot forward. Hands at the side chamber. They could be up, but I recommend leaving them down, and very gentle hollow fist. If you can pull the hand all the way over, that's fantastic. I have wrist issues, I cannot do that, but if you can, it's great. So 1 toe pointed, and all the kicks will keep the leg completely straight, and the toe will remain completely pointed, meaning that you won't bend the leg at all. There's no snap for this. It's really just for the concept of exploding the hip and pushing the breath, pelvis rotating on the femur, because you're not really bending the back too much, and pushing the breath through the leg and the hand simultaneously. The hand I keep very relaxed until just before, as it can be called, skin kisses skin. Just before you touch the hand, I flex to create the shape. So we're gonna whip the breath, inhaling, so inhaling the breath, the color is the belly, and exhale, whipping through the leg. We're gonna do it 10 times each leg. And ready, go. switch 10 times. So again, in that case, you were splitting the breath through the leg. The visualization of the breath through the hand and the leg simultaneously getting met at the impact moment. Now, we'll do number 2. Of course, just so that you're aware, the Shaolin tradition, or the traditional Shaolin temple experience, oftentimes between every moment of every exercise, I will do this posture, and I'll say Omi Tofo, which means Buddha bless you. It's a wonderful thing to say. It's not just the words, but it's about what the words do to the body, which is so important when it comes to the concept of the system of Tai Chi, rather than Tai Chi being a set of movements. The concept of an idea bringing your posture and your awareness back to a center line. So I've observed that when I see the monks say Omi Tofo, or other fellow students, Omi Tofo, that their posture, their awareness, they could be outside in the street, they could be at a party and I see them, and the second we see each other, Omi Tofo, the posture comes back, the awareness comes back to what we're really about, which is this internal strength, this internal awareness. So between exercises, I normally say by myself, Omi Tofo. It's very, very important. So whether you say that or whatever else you say to center yourself and do to center yourself, I think it's very important to have something to trigger yourself back into the state of center line awareness. Of course, every time we do these Tai Chi sessions, we're always starting out with the imaginary string lifting us from the top of the head, our gilded pillar posture, to achieve that in an instant before you go into a meeting, before you go and meet people for the first time, so that you're the best version of yourself, the best posture, the best breathing. Very, very important. So Omi Tofo. And the next exercise is a flexed foot, meaning that before we were doing toe pointed, now the toe is flexed. The intention is to be kicking toward our own nose, but the leg is going to remain straight again the entire time. The arms will be out at the side. The salutation to get there is left hand over right, and then step the left foot forward and both hands out. Hands are pointed down. And then 3, you turn forward, the palms turn to be pressing outward as if you're holding 2 pillars apart or pushing 2 walls apart. The chest is open. Remember, Shaolin Kung Fu is Chan Buddhism. And the concept here is keeping the heart open to Buddha at all times. That is the concept of this posture. So when you hold this posture, we're going to kick, again, explosiveness right here in the hip. And that explosion in either leg, here or here, is generated from here, from the breath work in the belly. So as you inhale the color, giving the breath a color, whatever you intuitively comes to you, when you exhale, it pushes right here to the first hip that's exploding, and it goes through the legs. You're going to exhale into it and push it out all the way up. So just important visuals to know the path that you want to visualize. Inhaling into the belly, exhale through the leg. And you're always tracing that path, unless you're doing reverse breathing Tai Chi. If you're doing reverse breathing Tai Chi, you're going to do the exact opposite, which means you're going to inhale through the foot, in and up through the hip into the belly. So the color will pull in through the leg rather than through the nose. You know, obviously you're breathing breath through the nose. So just different visualization pattern. And we're going to do 5 of each. 5 breath into belly, out the leg, 5 in through leg into belly, starting now. And 5 from the belly into the leg. Exhaling up. And then 5 inhale from the leg into the belly. Same leg. Inhale up, exhale down. And then switch legs. And now we're going to do 5, inhale up, exhale down. We're going to continue. And now 5, inhale to the belly, exhale to the leg. And then 2 uplifting habits. Omito. And next one, salutation. 1, 2, 3, out. Heart open. Magic blades here, so that if you drop the arms down, they cut you, it hurts, you keep it back up. So now we're going to do the axe kick, meaning that you're going to inhale up and then exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down across. The concept is that if you're flexible enough, I'm not, and that's okay, because you don't have to be super flexible to do this. It's important to know the intent, even if you can't do it at the pinnacle of the physical demands for any particular of these exercises. There's still a lot of value here. Inhaling up as if you're brushing the nose with the toe. So as you're kicking up, you're flexing the foot. Once you reach the apex, you're going to point the toe and rip it down. So you're coming up flexed, pointing down, ripping across, drawing an A, up and down. And we'll do it with one leg. And notice that you have both the reverse breathing and the regular Tai Chi breathing here, if you allow yourself to have it, meaning that you inhale up and you exhale down, crash. Really, really important, because you want to be able to conduct the body through all these movements. So you conduct it with the breath. The intention is set through the breath, and let's go for it. Right leg first, inhaling up, exhale down. 10 times. Switch. Awesome. Inhaling deep, 2 uplifting heavens. And now we'll move on to the crescent kicks, the outside crescent kicks. Sometimes you'll find that the axe kick can be interchangeable in those 5 basic Shaolin kicks for the inside crescent, meaning here, kicking from one side to the other, making a half or a crescent moon, etc. Oftentimes I will do 5 of each, but for efficiency today, just did the axe kick. But now we're going the opposite way. But instead of opposite up down, we're going a circle out. So for the first 5 of the outside crescent kicks, I often make sure to not explode the hip, meaning that I don't exhale, push the breath into the hip to get that big explosive hip movement, which is awesome. I love that hip movement. And I remember when I didn't know how to do it, and then I figured out, I'm like, oh wow, there's a detail that wasn't clearly articulated to me with breath work. So I really like to take the time to articulate it here. So when you inhale, for the first one, we're just going to be making the big movement. In other words, inhaling up and exhaling down when it feels right. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. That's totally fine. You can even do a big inhalation if you want, just for one, and an exhalation for the other. And in that sense, we can do each leg, and we can alternate sides, which we haven't done before, intentionally today. So we'll alternate sides, meaning you can do 1 breath in, 1 breath out, but of course we're going to do this with our Shaolin posture. But then we're going to make an adjustment on exploding the hip. So we'll stop and do the more detailed note for that in a second. So first, warming toe. Left hand up, right. One, left foot steps out, meaning it goes forward, touches downward. Same way we've talked about in the past. Looking at your right hand, palm out, double-sided. And now we're going to alternate legs, one breath for each leg, whether it's an inhalation or exhalation. And 10 on each leg. So inhaling on one, exhaling on the other. Making sure that every breath is connected. So that was 10 each side. Uplifting hand twice. So the next detail is for the exploding hip. The exploding hip detail is much more precise. You're going to inhale, flexing the foot up as we've done in the past. Very straight leg, meaning that there's no bend at all. Your intention is to keep the leg completely straight, going straight up. Ideally, your big toe is coming right in front of your nose and the wind is whipping right past your nose. That's the intention. If you've been stretching since you were a child, then you can potentially achieve that much better than I can. Once you bring the inhalation of the leg up, pulling the breath through the leg, bring it up, then you're going to exhale and explode outward. The explosion outward is going to have a counterbalance, meaning that, just to show you the example, inhale up, exhale out. So you're literally pushing the leg out and counterbalancing the body by leaning to one side. You're, of course, going to be in this posture. One of the things that's best in this posture is giving yourself, with your palms, a target for the leg. And by giving yourself a target for the leg, you're also counterbalancing, similar to how you would if you were fighting with your hands up. So you're fighting with your hands up here. If you were doing a lead leg outside crescent kick, you have your counterbalance of the hands coming up a little bit back as the foot goes out to make some room. So you give your hands, you give your leg a target, and you slap both hands. In the previous version, we were just targeting one hand. Now you're going to bring the other hand in, and it's out. Inhaling up, out. And notice that slight counterbalance, the upper body. The hip explodes out, the counterbalance happens. So let's do this again. And if you have any questions, please ask, because there's a lot of details here that were not explained to me. So as I'm explaining them to you, this is based off of observation and the body mechanics that I found to translate not only from this wonderful exercise, but to other martial experiences. Whether I'm kicking or setting up a throw, this movement is actually super important. In fact, this is a counter, a mid-air counter to being thrown from the crank in Tai Chi push hands. And I did not know that until I saw it on video. Until I saw it in person, and it's on video. You can go to our YouTube channel for this. But essentially, Tun to Tun, or Chen to Chen, Tuisho Chen to Chen, who is the pretty much the best Tai Chi World Cup style push hands player in the world, is going against my assistant coach, or he was my coach, but he was the assistant coach of the team, Dan Caulfield, in 2005. So if you go and look at the 2005 Dan Caulfield versus Tuisho Chen push hands match, which is on our YouTube channel, you will see Dan attempt a crank throw, which we practice in push hands and Neigong on Tuisho Chen, and he reverses the throw in the air by kicking his leg out with this crescent kick movement and regaining his balance on the edge of the ring. One of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in martial arts. Really amazing. So these exercises are way more than just I'm kicking something out of somebody's hand. That's a long-winded way of saying that. But they're very, very special. And it's the mechanic that is important. The mechanic is applicable to so many situations. So 1, 2, 3, and 10 each leg. Inhale up, exhale out. Explode, exhaling on the outward motion. Inhale straight up, exhale, kick out, and then come back to center. And switch. Inhale up, up, set the level with the hand. Notice that the level with the hands is going to stay pretty much level with your shoulders. But you can go higher if you like. Now lifting heaven. And now the last exercise. So we've done side jiao, straight kicks. We've done 2, the front kicks with the flex foot. We did the inside crescent, 3, or should I say axe kick. We did the outside crescent, 4. And now we're doing the exploding the hip to the side posture. And this posture starts, of course, Omitopo. When I say Omitopo, I again bring my central line of awareness to my whole body. It's almost as if by saying this, and again, you can use any terminology you want to activate this. You program yourself. More people have programmed this for Omitopo than for other martial words, but there's still other martial words that there are all these different wonderful martial words that should bring you to your center, back to the center line of awareness. So Omitopo, all the thoughts that are unnecessary fall away. You're just right here. I did a fast yesterday, quick tangent, or day before yesterday, till yesterday. And one of my favorite components of fasting is not having the energy to have unnecessary thoughts. So I really have to just do what I'm supposed to do. And it helps me rise above personality, which I think is really, really important. Personality is crafted over a lifetime. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be that tomorrow or even today. You can always rise above it and to a higher form of awareness. So fasting is great. Anyway, Omitopo, bring yourself right back here. 1, and now looking to your right. The right arm, the lead arm, is slightly lower than the back arm. And my corresponding foot, my right foot, toe, is pointed out. And in fact, is a straight line under my right hand. So my right middle finger, my right big toe are fairly aligned here on the same axis going this way, right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lead leg, because we're not going to be walking with this, I'm just going to drag it behind, meaning that my posture is I have one base foot facing the camera. That's front for me. And then this one is behind. My right hand is still where I'm looking, and I'm going to kick that back leg toward my right hand. While I do that, I'm going to cover. And I'll cover, the basic way to do it is 2 hands. One, the back hand covers the face, front hand covers the heart. And that's the very basic start to this exercise. And we're going to inhale on the 5, and we'll do 5 with the inhalation, inhaling through the leg into the belly. Go. And now we'll switch it up. The more advanced move is pushing, blocking right here, and blocking the temple and face area. So blocking on both sides at the same time. So when you go here, you'll block on both sides, and then of course come back at the same time the leg comes down. So now we'll exhale from the belly through the leg for this one. 5. And switch sides. Notice that I switched immediately without pulling my leg back. So my left hand is out, my left leg is behind my right leg, and we'll do 5. And you can just cover normal, inhaling through the leg. You're going to look back when you cover. So I have the middle finger, and then look back. And now we're going to exhale through the leg and do the double block. But left hand is going to cover the heart, right hand covers the head. And you're going to look behind you. So you're covering the head while you look behind you. Ready? And go. Just want to highlight that wonderful, wonderful block here in the mechanic of looking behind while covering yourself. That's just such a great, great thing to train in a peaceful way for potentially sparring or fighting multiple opponents. It's really, really great because to be able to know that something is going out your leg, the kick, and that you have this wonderful block right here, just in case anything was coming at your head. And then this one right here, and even this shoulder, if you need to lift it. So you're fully protected just for that one moment, coming to the other side. Really, really cool stuff. I always think about action choreography as well and how these things connect together. So inhale up twice, 2 uplifting heavens. So today has been more of an experimental Tai Chi session. And when I say experimental, it's really more so introducing the idea that it's quite possible that you're already doing Tai Chi and you're not necessarily conscious of it, meaning that you might be connecting your breath to certain movements and visualizations to certain movements, and you're not conscious of it. And that by being conscious of a thing that you're doing, you can leverage it that much more to your advantage and the benefit of society. So I think it's really important to think about how you open a door, how you pull a chair, and what your breath is doing at those moments. Because in every moment, you have the opportunity to cleanse the mind with your breath work, to control the mind, to calm the mind with your breath work. And if you've never done any breath work before, any particular modality that focuses on that, this is an opportunity for you to experiment for yourself, because really we all need to be the scientists of our own lives first and foremost. So really experiment to how it feels to inhale, pull a chair, or exhale, pull a chair, and maybe straighten the posture up. I'm pretty sure William C.C. Chen would say, straighten the posture as you pull it in. While other martial arts might say, drag down as you pull it in. And there's just different reasonings behind that. I think William Chen's mechanic of standing up while putting downward posture is very interesting because it's going to natural alignment of the body, and therefore you get a lot of power out of that you don't have to think too much about. And I've noticed that a lot as a pattern in his teachings of going for things that essentially would be counterintuitive to the wider martial systems, because the wider martial systems have focused so much on drilling in tension or drilling tension rather than drilling the intent with softness. So if your body at rest is very, very powerful, then how do you optimize that and minimize tension? So that's a side note for that. But whether you're moving a chair, you're sweeping, you're lifting weights, there's all these wonderful exercises. And this isn't my first time sharing this particular perspective in this way, but you might already be doing it. When we do things with these types of sessions with larger groups of people, I will be very open to questions. And if you have questions, you can always put them in the comments. Questions and ideas of, hey, how would you utilize breath work here? Again, I'm about to start bringing Tai Chi into other systems because at the end of the day, Tai Chi is called Supreme Ultimate Fist. And what that really means is that any master of any particular modality essentially attains Tai Chi at the highest level, because at the highest level there's a lot of similarities between the systems. So if Tai Chi is starting at a place where it's made a higher level more easily distributable to a wide audience, then I think it's really valuable to just distribute that information as fast as we possibly can so we can level up the world. So it's gonna be great. So that being said, let's finish up with our breath work. 2 more uplifting heavens and stretching. Let's open up the hip, inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up, breath 1. Stage 2 breath. Exhaling down. Inhaling up, even deeper. And then inhaling, reaching up and across over the hip and shoulder. Spin the pinky to really get that extra index finger, thumb, pinky spinning on both sides. Exhale. Inhale, reach to the index finger and thumb, and then add the pinky and feel how it changes the bottom of the head. You can inhale through the index finger, middle finger, and thumb, and then add the pinky, feel the twist. Exhaling down. Inhale. Add the pinky when you get all the way to the apex. Exhale, now reaching behind. Inhale. Inhale. The bottom hand is going to snake around index, middle finger, thumb, and really reaching down to the toe. So you can feel the anaconda type sensation, squeezing. The bottom hand is almost squeezing by the structure of the bottom. Structure of the shape. And it's the reach that's causing the squeeze, you're not intentionally squeezing. That's one of the most important parts. So when we talked about structural locks, that's one of the ways to achieve very, very dangerous structural locks when you're competing against an opponent, playing against them. It's not that you're trying to squeeze them, it's that your direction is taking space. I often say, take the fight, remove the fight from the movement. So you don't have all the tension associated with the concept of fighting. Inhaling up. And we're going to open the hands. You're going to explode the palms open, really feel it in the forearm, and then explode it closed, clenching the fist, feel it in the forearm for each way. And we'll do it 100 times. And I recommend getting into widening the legs to do a stretch, get it as wide as possible, feel it in the hips. Some of you may be able to go all the way down for this. Not me, that's okay. And go for it. 1. And when you go down, you're going to stretch. As you stretch, you're going to stretch the hands. So you're going to exhale and pull back here, and then change the grip. Exhale and pull here. Feel it here. And then you're going to grab the inside of the palm, grabbing the inside of the palm, and you're going to turn it like a key or like a doorknob forward, and you're going to flip the palm. So one hand revving the palm, and feel the stretch right here. And we'll do this while we stretch. So you're here and stretching 1, 2, and 3. And then switch hands. 1, 2, and switch sides. Try to bring your forehead to your knee just for a second, and then go back to the hands, just the forearm. 2, and 3, and switch 1, and 2, and 3. So you're trying to double up the stretch here. Inhale deep. Exhale, bring forehead to the knee. And then hand 1, 2, 3. Other side. 1, 2. Hold the arms and hang. White line to the lungs. Exhaling out. Put the palm down and really reach up to the sky. And switch sides. Palm down, reach up. Leaning on forearm on the thigh, reaching up. Bottom hand reaches out to open the thigh up. Top hand opens up all the way through the shoulder blade, rib cage. Exhale down to the other side. Forearm resting on the thigh, above the kneecap, and then inhale up. Exhaling down. Both forearms resting on the thigh. And you can bring feet facing outward and sit, reaching the hands out. Inhale, deep, exhale, good. Relax. Hands on the hip, both feet facing 45 degrees. Push the hip forward, lean over the back leg. Feel the stretch. And switch sides. Somewhat of a bow stance here. Both feet 45 degrees. One bent, one straight. Now push the hip straight to your right or straight across the hips. And lean over. And bring the hips, hands on the hips, big circle. And reverse it. Now that we're warmed up there, keep the hands on the lower back and push gently forward, lean back. And then pushing from here to the side, pushing the hip to the side and leaning over the opposite side. And then falling, pushing the hips back as you fall forward. So the hips, my hands are pushing my hips back as I fall forward. And now I'm pushing my hips to the other side and leaning on the opposite way. And then back, leaning back, pushing forward, and then reversing it. One side pushing the opposite way, pushing the hips back, pushing the hips the other direction, and coming back to straight. Side to side. Elbow to hip, elbow to hip. Really feel the intercostal muscles switching here. Hands down, flicking. Every 5, you can jolt the legs. And then inhaling out, right side belly, exhaling down. Inhaling out to the right, exhaling down. Inhaling to the left. Inhale one more. Inhaling out. Shoulder, Inhaling out. 2 more. 1. Back together. Around the chest, pushing the breath into the lungs, tapping around, massage, floating wrist, your side, sternum, other side of the collarbone, chin, switch, ears for sleep, up, over, down, under, up on the face to the side, up to the side, fingers to the scalp, front to back, back to front, front to back, back to front, massaging, front to back, back to front, slapping front to back, back to front, gentle banging front to back, back to front, grab the scalp, knead it like dough. 3, another patch, 1, 2, 3, another patch, another patch, and reverse it, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, top of the forehead, 2, 3, 4, 5, reverse it, 2, temples, 4, 5, 1, reverse 2, 3, under the eyes, and reverse the heart, switch, top and bottom, 1, 2, switch, sides, 1, 2, 3, tongue, reverse it, and flick the fingers out, thumbs. All right, 1, 2, 3, grab, 1, 2, 3. Close the eyes, inhale white light. Spread the whole body. Inhale, roll white light up the front. Exhale down the back. Inhale, left side. Exhale down the right. White light in the belly. Exhale to the top of the head like a fountain. 1 more white light in the belly. Exhale, push it down to the ground. Come back up and around. Fountain over. Gratitude for light. Good people in your life, the space. Thank you so much. As usual, training. It's Tai Chi to the people, Coach Jan, and this has been an experimental session. And next week we'll continue. Of course, this is for @NoKidsHungry. You can find them on Instagram @NoKidsHungry, and you can do if you like this training, you can donate to them right on their Instagram page. And this has been presented by Justice for Hire, the first cinematic universe built with a community. You can join from justiceforhire.app. And we love you, and we'll see you next week. And press stop.